still has Jones in the top 50 all time. But at age 31, Jones signed with the Dodgers, and after being a gazelle, his body began turning on him. He gained weight and played for 4 teams over the next 5 seasons, showing only flashes of the past. After going to Japan for 2 years and helping lead his team to a Pacific League title, Jones returned to the States where he tried for 2 years to make a team and failed. The weak exit left a lasting image in the writers' minds, and for a decade, Jones paid a price for not wanting his dream to end. Now, to be fair, Jones was only close to being the best player in the NL once in 2005 when Albert Pujols easily won the MVP award. Jones hit for power, not average, ending his career at a great .254 mark. But in the postseason, Jones hit well. And the fact is, this stopped being a small haul a long time ago. In 1997, Jones finished second in the NL Rookie of the Year race to Phillies third baseman Scott Rowland. Rowland was voted into the Hall in 2023, with the bulk of his case being made on his defensive ability at third base. It only makes sense that possibly the best defender in history at a historically underrepresented position in the Hall finally got his call. I'm Mike for the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning.
Every champion has a team behind him. And for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinic.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled KATY.org. Team up with them today.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Quick question. How many calls, texts, or messages does your business miss every week? Nights, weekends, busy days. That's lost money. Create Assistance helps businesses fix that problem using AI employees that answer calls, respond to texts, book appointments, and follow up with leads 24/7 automatically. No extra staff, no complicated software. Everything runs inside one simple command center that replaces scattered tools, missed follow-ups, and manual busy work. Whether you're a service business, office, or multi-location company, Create Assistance keeps your business responsive, organized, and running even when you're off the clock. Stop letting things slip through the cracks. Visit createassistance.ai to book a free call, or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. Look forward to hearing from you.
Rick Tittle knows his sports.
I hate that guy.
I love that guy. Oh my gosh, he's so fine. Rick Tittle brings home the chicken, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it.
Ricky T in the hizzle for shizzle snatch.
All right, hey, thank you. And we are back live from the studio. Technically, I was in the studio as well, but this is the one where I'm on Twitch and streaming on YouTube as well. So good to have of you with us, wherever you are listening in this great land of ours and okay foreign lands. It's all good. Saw a story that Jung-Hoo Lee, the very exciting outfielder for the Giants, when he was home in Korea, Vitello, the new manager of the Giants with just collegiate experience, and Willie Adames went over to Korea and hung out with him. Bonding. Nicely done. Well, the other day, Jung-Hoo Lee was coming back, and he flew into Los Angeles, and he was detained at the airport. Now, his agent is Scott Boras. Scott Boras said it was not anything political or that. And Nancy Pelosi, of all people, got involved and said that she was working with congressional partners, the Giants, and federal liaisons to resolve the situation to secure Lee's release. That sounds like some Brittany Griner thing. It was an hour. So this is a guy who signed a 6-year, $113 million deal. And, a lot of people are expecting big things out of him and staying healthy. I like him. He might be one of the most exciting players on a team that was pretty boring last year. But Vitello said the highlight of the whole trip was meeting John Byum, who was his father, and his mother, Jung Min. And so that's cool. But anyway, like I said, the Brittany Griner thing in Russia, you want to, but when you get held up in LAX, that's not as foreboding and diabolical, usually. I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more back taxes, IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. Again, for the last time, that's 800-943-9215.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Sponsored by Specialty Medical. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. That's 800-913-9739.
Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle is a genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful, genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle he's so handsome, he's a genius.
I am so excited to be back on the Rick Tittle Show.
Speaking of that, Robert Smigel is going to be appearing on the show in the next couple days. We'll look forward to having Triumph the Insult Dog again. It is 11:12. We like checking in with J.D. Sharp from Pro Wagering and getting his insights. He is a professional prognosticator. J.D., welcome to the show. And not so much gambling questions, but I want to see your insights because a lot of times you got the inside skinny on way people are leaning. The NFL put out their final 5 candidates for all the postseason awards, which will happen at the NFL Honors on Super Bowl Thursday. I just want your opinion of who you think will win, and then if it's someone you might think deserves to win but is not going to win, and they're going to give it to somebody else. So let's start with the MVP. The 5 guys are Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford, Christian McCaffrey, Drake May, and surprisingly, Trevor Lawrence. What do you think?
Told you, T-Law. T-Law's been stepping it up lately. He's setting himself up for a nice future now. He is going to lose his offensive coordinator and his DC, but he's still got Cohen there, and they've got a good relationship. Matthew Stafford's going to win the MVP, Rick. 46 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 14-3 record, 12-5 record. About deep playoff run. Good offensive line, but not great. Obviously, he has a lot of weapons, but I mean, Drake had a great year. He had a really easy schedule, but the number 31-8, four rushing touchdowns. Yeah, second-year guy. Obviously, a major turnaround in New England, but again, 46-8. Those are extremely impressive numbers. Really, you just can't deny those numbers. And I think he was maybe 66% completion. He definitely had over 4,000 yards. Yeah, Matthew Stafford will be the MVP. Now, I think Myles Garrett should be the MVP because he broke the sack record, but that's neither here or there.
Well, we'll get to him in a minute. Let's go to Coach of the Year. Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson, Mike McDonald, Kyle Shanahan, Mike Vrabel. Now, Kyle held that team together with Scotch tape. Mike McDonald had a solid year. He's not going to get it. It'd be one of these surprising teams like the Patriots, the Bears, or the Jags. I don't think it's going to be the Jags. I think it's probably between Vrabel and Johnson. But what do you think?
It should be Shanahan, honestly, because really it should be Robert Saleh. He was probably the coach of the year just in general. They had a really young, injured defense, and they played pretty well for a decent part of the year. But Shanahan, having to deal with all the injuries that he did and still having being a playoff team and having a 12-win season or 13-win season is very impressive. But I think it's going to be Liam Cohen, honestly. That was a major turnaround in Jacksonville. You know, the Bears still have a legitimate fan base, right? The Patriots have a legitimate fan base, obviously. You know, they've won Super Bowls. There's Bears fans not just in Chicago but all over the world. For Mike Ditka and Richard Dent and Walter Payton and those early teams. The Jags don't have that. They don't have any history. They don't have a winning history. They don't have a transnational fan base. I mean, and they've had a really good season. They've got a solid defense. Trevor Lawrence stepped up, and I think that to me, Liam Cohen did the best job of any coach in the NFL, and he should win it.
Assistant Coach of the Year: Vic Fangio, Brian Flores, Vance Joseph, Clint Kubiak, Josh McDaniels. This one gets a little more complicated. I don't think Fangio will get it just because he's been around forever. Flores is suing the NFL, so he's not going to get it. I don't know. Do you give it to Kubiak? Who wins this?
So, assistant coach, meaning this isn't offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. This is actual assistant head coach, right?
This is Assistant Coach of the Year. It could be anything, but yeah, they're OCs and DCs.
there is some OCs and DCs on there.
Yeah, it's Fangio of the Eagles, Flores of the Vikings, Vance Joseph of the Broncos, Kubiak Seahawks, and Josh McDaniels of New England.
How is Robert Saleh not on there?
Yeah, no. Now that I think about it, that is obscene.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, to me, like that list without Saleh is just completely invalidated. So, I mean, to me, Saleh should win it, but he's not even on the list. Of that list, maybe you can go with Kubiak, considering how good that he was.
All right, comeback player of the year. Dak Prescott, Christian McCaffrey, Trevor Lawrence, Aiden Hutchinson, and your favorite, Stephon Diggs. I think you got to give it to McCaffrey, right?
Yeah, probably. I mean, he had a very good year. Top 5 MVP guy. Obviously, 1,600 or roughly 2,000 yards, all-purpose yards. Carried the team for most of the season, and he would be a legit MVP candidate. He's not going to win, but he should be a top 2, top 3 guy. He's a very, very good player, and he has been for a long time. But yeah, I think that's fair. I think giving it to McCaffrey is fair. But also, I think taking a close look at Trevor Lawrence, though, I mean, he made a complete turnaround from last year to this year. Ended in the top 5 as the MVP, ending the season with 19 touchdowns and 1 pick, having the 10 touchdowns on the ground, having the 30 touchdowns through the air. They should have won their playoff game. They didn't, but that's okay. And I think that he's got a really bright future, honestly. So probably give it to McCaffrey, but Lawrence should be under consideration as well.
Offensive player of the year, all had great years. Drake May, Christian McCaffrey, Puka Nacua, Bijan Robinson, and Jackson Smith in Jigba. You can make a case for any of those guys.
Bijan. Yeah, Bijan for sure. Bijan's going to he's going to be a really good pro. I went back and I looked at his combine. He ran a 4.42 and he had a 1.52 or 1.5310. You can see that with the way he plays. But he caught balls. He ran the ball really well. He's got 1,400, 1,500 yards on the ground, probably 9 or 10 touchdowns. He caught at least 80 or 90 passes. Obviously, McCaffrey and Bijan are very similar. They're very similar players, but Bijan has that home run speed that McCaffrey doesn't have. And that's why he had 2 or 3 runs that were 60-plus yards this year. McCaffrey doesn't get that. Now, maybe it's the offense he's in, or maybe it's just it's just a physical limitation. But to me, Bijan Robinson was the offensive player of the year, and I think having him and Lawrence and Caleb Williams, I don't think Drake May is going to stay where he's at. I think he's going to have a little fall off. I think Lawrence, Caleb Williams, Bijan Robinson are going to be the top 3 guys for the foreseeable future in the MVP race.
Defensive Player of the Year, Will Anderson, Nick Bonito, Myles Garrett, Aiden Hutchinson, Micah Parsons is on the list, but it's Myles Garrett's slam dunk for breaking the sack record, right?
Absolutely, but Will Anderson should be under consideration too, because he's just such an explosive defensive player. He makes such crazy plays all the time. Even in that game where Stroud decided to stop learning, he decided to just not play football. He just forgot how to play football. He had 2 or 3 sacks in that game. He kept them in the game for the most part. They only lost by 12. They should have lost by 30. They should have got destroyed in that game. So it's Garrett, obviously, but Will Anderson's right up there.
All right, 2 more in 2 minutes. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jackson Dart, Emeka Egbuka, Travion Henderson, Tedero McMillan, Tyler Shuck.
Tedero McMillan.
All right, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Abdul Carter, Nick Emanwari, James Pierce, Carson Schlesinger, Xavier Watts.
Nick Emanwari.
Yeah.
I mean, Pierce is good. Pierce would be number 2, but Emanwari he's a really good athlete. He came out of South Carolina, one of the last picks in the draft. They had a great draft with Zabel and Emanwari. That's how important the drafts are. And then Arroyo, obviously, as well. But, yeah, Emanwari is a physical freak defensively, and he's shown it this year. Yeah,
I agree with you. It will be him. J.D. Sharp, Pro Wagering, thanks for your time, man. We appreciate your insights.
Hey, thanks, Robert.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come on back with Josh Johnson. Get on in on the other side.
Who's watching? Tell me who's watching. Who's watching me? I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? When I come home at night, I roll the door.
You need to sell your home? If you've sold a home before, you remember how stressful and expensive it was. Sold.com is here to help you sell your home for the most money and with the least amount of stress. There are new ways to sell your home that you've never heard of before. Did you know there are companies who will offer you cash for your home? Did you know you could trade in your home for a new one? Did you know there are realtors who will sell your home for a flat fee instead of an expensive commission? It's true. Sold.com services are free. So if you're looking to sell, make this free phone call right now and learn how your next home sale can be faster and easier than you ever thought possible. Pick up your cell phone and call right now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816. Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, call Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. That's 855-325-5647.
Hey, vacation lovers! It's finally time to use all those random facts you learned on TikTok for something that actually matters. It's the Radio Trivia Challenge from thevacationbuddies.com. All right, here's how it works. Be one of the first 10 callers right now and you'll score a complimentary 3-day, 2-night getaway from the Vacation Buddies. You'll stay at none other than Westgate Resorts in your choice of Vegas, Orlando, Myrtle Beach, or Branson. You ready? According to Travel Stats, which of these 3 cities is the most visited vacation destination in the U.S.? A, Las Vegas, B, Orlando, C, New York City. First 10 callers get the trip. So stop scrolling and start dialing. And let's see if TikTok actually taught you anything.
Be one of the first 10 callers. Call Vacation Buddies right now. 800-340-1834. 800-340-1834. 800-340-1834. That's 800-340-1834.
Teams have 4 attempts to move the ball 10 yards. So if you see a graphic on your screen that says first and 10, that means it's the team's first attempt to get 10 yards.
Be crazy. Use a DOG. And if you was my man, I would have been kicked you out of my house by now. This is what had happened.
Thanks for that, and welcome to the show. If we find our guest, we will put him on the air. Coming up in the next segment, Tom Lenk, an actor and part of Sketchfest. We'll talk to Tom Lenk in the next segment. Right. There was another big acquisition by the Mets, who have been very busy in these last few days, and they finally got a big-time starter in Freddie Peralta from the Brewers. And the Brewers get 2 top 5 prospects from the Mets, right-hander Brandon Sproat and infielder Jet Williams. And the Mets also get Tobias Myers, who's a right-handed pitcher. So this is a amazing swoop if you think about bringing in Bichette and Gobert, and the Mets are, as I said, getting busy. Peralta is 29 years old. He's coming off the best season of his career, 33 starts, 2.70. His KBB was 309. He was an all-star. He got Cy votes, and he didn't need to maintain that output to be a welcome addition to the blossoming staff of Nolan McLean, David Peterson, Kodai Senga, Clay Holmes, the old lefty from the A's, Sean Manaea. But, I mean, Peralta has a 4-pitch arsenal. He's got an amazing cutter. He's got a deadly changeup, slider, curveball. And whether the Mets are willing to pony up, we'll see, because right now this is a rental. But at minimum, they should be able to recoup draft pick compensation if he does decide to walk. Myers is a well-traveled right-hander. He's with the Brewers the last 2 years, and he's a relief pitcher. But this is what the Brewers do. They take impending free agent pitchers and they convert them into package deals, usually involving, I don't know, unheralded, if near-ready players. They usually get more mileage than expected. They did it with Joey Ortiz, who they got in the Corbin Burns trade. With the Orioles, they did it with Caleb Durham last year, and he was included in the Devin Williams trade. That doesn't mean Sproat is going to be amazing, but the Brew Crew have established themselves as a team that is going to be in the mix and maybe not access the tip top of the Mets system, despite Peralta's very low salary, which is only $8 million, and throwing Myers in as well. Milwaukee probably, in my mind, would have been better off keeping Peralta and trying to run it back and be the best team in baseball again. But and then getting that draft pick at the end, he uses your qualifying offer. So I don't know. This guy Williams is 22. He batted .261 with 17 home runs and 34 bases in AA and AAA. Of course, 22% in-zone whiff rate is a little bit above average for that strikeout rate as well. But Sproat is 25 years old. He made his big league debut last year. His ERA was a 4.79. Not amazing, but before that he was in AAA. He had a 4.24. And as I said, the fifth prospect, but a very hard-throwing right-hander, coming in around 96. You know what's funny is 96 would have been like, oh my gosh, the guy throws gas. Now it's like, yeah, it's okay. It's fine. But on the other thing is, is it good for baseball that this happened? What I mean is, it's sort of like when the New Orleans Pelicans draft Unibrow, and he plays there for a few years, building, kind of like Jordan with the Bulls. The Bulls suck, but they had Michael Jordan. They got to keep getting him pieces, and Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant and Paxton and everyone else. Well, what did Unibrow do? That's all, folks. So the best team in baseball made themselves worse to save $8 million. And that's not good for baseball. But as I said, this is the MO of the Brewers, and everybody just kind of accepts reality. And everyone, Brewer Nation, is pissed beyond belief, but we saw it with Josh Hader, Corbin Burns, I mentioned Devin Williams, now Freddie Peralta. Everybody knew it was coming. And $8 million for an all-star pitcher who finished 5th in Cy voting for the best team in baseball. If you look at FanGraphs, his salary should have been $29 million last year. They would save $21 million this year. And I'm sure the Brewers are excited about Brandon Sproat and Jet Williams with 2 T's. But, I'm sure the fans will keep showing up to whatever they call Miller Park these days. But in a way, you could say this is worse than Kyle Tucker going to the Dodgers. Because as I mentioned, the Brewers were not only the best team last year, they had the best run differential. Do you know they played the Dodgers 6 times? They won all 6. But they've never won a World Series. And so why would you move on from an ace for a couple of lottery tickets is what those guys are. And I'm well aware he's 1 year away from free agency. But who cares? When you're in the position the Brewers are, you go all out and win the World Series. I saw the A's do that one time, and I wasn't mad. And Barry Zito's walk year. But a guy coming off a Cy, a guy who was able to outduel Johan Santana at the Gladbach, and you know, the A's took their chances. Like, we need Zito, or we're going to throw in the towel. And you don't want to let guys walk. But if you're the Brewers, I mean, you would think a king's ransom. And I know it's a rental, but the competitive balance payroll, the Brewers are about $145.5 million. So there's a lot of wiggle room there. The Brewers also drew 2.6 million fans, which is their most since before the pandemic. They hosted 5 playoff games. Those are monster returns from small market club. And that's the other thing, too, is you got to keep in mind that there's also revenue sharing money, which rich teams give to poor teams. I say it with quotes. These teams pull 40% of the money they earn, and then they distribute it equally to the 30 teams. And we don't have figures for last year, but Forbes mentioned that MLB had a league-wide revenue of $12.1 billion. So try to work on that on your own, but it's going to be 9 figures. Maybe $100 million in revenue sharing. Now, you could say, we were so good last year that we don't need Freddie Peralta. These 2 guys are so amazing, we had to say yes. You know, it's like Leo DeVries for the A's. Like, we didn't want to trade Mason Miller, but, how do we say no to Leo DeVries? Like, is that really what it is here? So, I mean, if you look at the roster, rotation, you go, look, Brandon Woodruff is our ace. Then we have Jacob Mizorowski, who made the All-Star team after pitching in 3 games. We have Quinn Priester, Chad Patrick, Logan Henderson. All right, well, the last 3 there, they like, but weren't they going to be better with Peralta on top? They got worse. So the bottom line is, once again, the best team in baseball made a move to make themselves worse to save $8 million. That's so bad. I'll quote Michael Irvin yet again. Bad for ball. That's bad. Now, I would say you don't have to save the $8 million, especially if you're bringing in $100 million in revenue sharing. We don't know the exact number, but that's what Forbes is saying. You don't have to do it. It's not small markets. It's small minds. It's small ambition. All of these owners, what is it, the Ananasios? All of these owners are rich enough. And if you asked even the A's, do you want to pay Freddie Peralta $8 million? Yes, please. The Pirates, another cheap-ass team. Would you take Freddie Peralta for $8 million? Hell yeah, I would. I'm paying my 121 left fielder more than that. So it's weird. It sends a bad message. And the whole thing about small market, it's Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yes, it's not New York City, but it's also not Idaho City, Idaho, a ghost town that I visited outside of Boise. It's not that either. All right. So, but if you're a Mets fan, you're over the moon, right? Who cares? We just got Freddie Peralta, and you gave up 2 guys that would have nothing to do with this team this year. Nothing to do with the team. So, that's a pretty good piece of business on Long Island. All right, I'm Rick Tittle. We'll come on back with Tom Lenk.
Fallon did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he commissioned a portrait of himself. Does he already know what he looks like? Yes. Do guests know what he looks like? Also yes. But not as art. It's Joe's savings, and if he wants to spend it on a velvet painting of himself with a white tiger at his feet, hey, roar, Joe, roar. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts is a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recoveries for his clients. And now with SportsBettingClaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fires carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. sportsbettingclaim.com.
Okay, let's have a little fun. Do you use the expensive blue pill to perform better? Are you thinking about it? So what if we can promise you results for less than $1 a pill? Okay, so these same pills can cost you $30 or more at a pharmacy. And our Better Blue Pill works for less than $1 a pill. You'll save $29 or more per pill. And right now, we'll give you 120 blue pills for just $99. Have a little fun and call right now. Get 120 of our Better Blue Pills for just $99. Don't overpay for the other blue pills. Call Steel Man Pills right now and get the Better Blue Pill for less than $1 a pill. Call 1-800-BUY-BLUE, 1-800-BUY-BLUE. It's easy to remember. 1-800-BUY-BLUE. That's 1-800-BUY-BLUE. And thanks for calling.
Refresh your bathroom with big savings at Lowe's. Reimagine your bathroom with up to 40% off select faucets during our Bath Savings event. Need it today? Order by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Shop for your bathroom refresh at Lowe's. We help, you save. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Same-day delivery on eligible in-stock items, subject to availability. Fees vary. Visit Lowes.com/same-day delivery for full terms.
I'm not insightful enough to be a movie critic. Maybe I could be a food critic. These muffins taste bad. Or an art critic. That painting is bad.
Why can't you say you talk to me? You're already thinking about someone else. When it comes home, your bed is on and I'll be gone. But I know my day will come. I know someday I'll be the only one. So now you wait for a spark.
I'm so disgusted by Rick Tittle that I find him very intoxicating.
I have that effect on people. Thank you for that. Rick Tittle, nationally syndicated out of San Francisco and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. You know we love Sketchfest, and it is going strong right now. And we've been talking to a lot of people from a lot of the shows. And our next guest is no different, Tom Lenk. He will be with Tom Detrinis, and they will be doing a show tonight over at BATS. That's the Bay Area Theater Sports, which is very cool in Fort Mason. It's called Goodnight Roach with Tom Lenk and Tom Detrinis. Tom, first of all, am I saying Detrinis right, as I always says it?
Oh my gosh, friend of many years, I think it's Detrinis. There we go.
Detrinis. All right. Goodnight Roach, and I saw a picture of you dressed as a roach. You're not a bad-looking guy, but you're a bad-looking roach. What is going on in that outfit?
Yeah, look, we're here to give you hyper-real cockroach, oozy, slimy. Just kidding, I'm not slimy. but I'm trying to look as terrible as possible. You know, sometimes it's easier to look bad than it is to look good. So we decided to do a play wherein I play a giant cockroach.
And what happens?
And what happens? Oh, the elevator pitch. Basically, this play is about it's a 1 hour play. It's about a sad man living alone in his apartment. He's an illustrator trying to work on his children's book, and he needs a new idea for a book. And then a cockroach lands in the apartment, like a regular sized one. And then he goes to get some fog. Oops, he drops the fog, and magically, a giant cockroach is now in his living room. But it's a roach that's been kind of living with him for a long time. So I kind of know a lot about him. And so I kind of turn into his roach therapist. You know, it's I'd like to say it's very Kafka-esque.
I was just going to say, dare I say Kafka-esque?
It's not. But the main character opposite me, the roach, is named Greg Orr, which is, I think, the character in that thing. So there we go. That's our shout out to Kafka.
The way you said it sounded like his name was Greg Orr. Is Greg Orr?
Greg Orr,
I
right?
grew up with a Greg Orr. Yeah.
Yeah, that's his name. Okay. Maybe it's based on him. I don't know. But it's very funny. Lots of laughs. A lot of heart. We like to say it's a buddy comedy with big feelers. Get it? Because roaches have antennas.
I like that. I also like the fact that you start off in a great film like Boogie Nights, which
and you're doing a deep cut on the IMDb credits. I see.
I did, because I love the fact when you're getting started, you got to do what you got to do. And two of your first three credits are Boy Number 2 and Drunk Boy.
Yeah, look, Hollywood is it's not messing around. You gotta start at the bottom and work your way up. And I have not necessarily worked my way up, more like kind of to the side, but I'll take it. Yeah, I did appear in Boogie Nights. Rumor is I accidentally look in the lens of the camera, and that you can notice it in the film. So sorry, everyone, I ruined Boogie Nights.
Burt
But
Reynolds.
it did get me into the Screen Actors Guild. #grateful. One of my big life regrets was that I took my whole family, including my grandparents, to see Boogie Nights.
Oh no!
At my local theater, and they all left halfway through, except for my grandfather. I was like, "I'll stay. I'd like to stay," and they dragged him out. So
wow. So they missed the alliterative Dirk Dingler Dong.
I think they missed that part. They saw some other things, which was, you know, you never want to sit next to your grandparents in a cinema when there's simulated porn action happening on screen. That's not a fun feeling or memory to have. But choices were made, and I stand by them.
My friend Jerry, he was in the Marines, and he took his grandparents to see Full Metal Jacket. He's like, "Oh, maybe you can see what it was like." And then the whole, "You want to give me a reach around?" And like, oh no, you know, they had to sit through all that with his grandparents. So I think not great.
Yeah, not good. Yeah, go see those kinds of movies with someone around your own age and life experience, I say.
Right. I also want to bring up A Cabin in the Woods because, you know, Chris Hemsworth, Anna Hutchinson. I mean, that movie was not a bad film, and that is not comedy. That's horror, science fiction. How did you get in that? Because it's showing your range.
Oh, I've got so much range. I would technically call that, though, a comedy horror because it is pretty funny. Yeah, I just worked with the creators before. Drew Goddard directed that, and I got to go, you know, fly in and do a couple weeks with a bunch of not famous movie stars yet. But then that movie technically did come out after Chris.
Tom? Uh-oh. Did we lose you, Tom? Did he call us? All right, let's try and call him back. That's Tom Lenk. So some people ask me like Sketchfest, what is that? It's just people doing sketches, and have every right to ask that because it is called Sketchfest for Pete's sake, right? It's Janet Varney, who's very very funny. She started it some years ago, and it's just a way to have lots of different shows, and some of them are musical comedy things. A lot of it is just straight stand-up comedy. Um, I'm going to head over next Friday to see Hanging with Dr. Z with Dana Gould over at Cobb's. Tom, do we have you back?
Rick, we had technical difficulties. I was just saying I like to get on the ground floor with huge celebrities before they become famous. So, you know.
Well, speaking of huge celebrities, I mean, you kind of made a name for yourself big time in Buffy. Like, did you go to Comic Cons and stuff?
Have I been to Comic Cons and stuff? Yes.
Not as a fan.
I have no, I've traveled the world
Mhm.
3 times over with conventions. It's kind of died down a bit, but there was like a sweet like 10 years where I got to like just make friends all over the world going to these conventions and meeting fans, and I mean unforgettable experiences, some terrible food at room service that I've eaten, but just meeting lots of great people. I think the first one I did was in Belfast, and it was with two of my friends who were on the show with me, and we were walking around. I felt like we were the Beatles when we walked around Belfast circa 2003 or 4. And we had teenage girls following us at the mall. There was a newspaper article. Like, what is that about? So it was a funny little moment in time where I got to feel very famous. In reality, I was not. You know, it's a very a very niche audience for that show. So,
Well,
but
it was fan. I mean, I'm sure people said, "Hey, Andrew Wells," and I know you reprised it in Angel, but I want to know from people not yelling, "Hey, Andrew," but someone who says, "Hey, Corey from Nip Tuck," and you're like, "What the hell?"
Was I on Nip Tuck? I was on Nip Tuck. Yeah. See, that one would go way over
That's
my
how
head.
you know you're a working anchor when you're
Well,
like, "Was I on Marcus Welby?"
I don't know. You know, it's interesting which shows have like a memorable, you know, like that stick around. Like that Nip Tuck isn't one that has like a big. You wouldn't. I'm dying over here. You wouldn't. The cockroaches they're eating me alive. The yeah, like Nip Tuck doesn't have like what's like the half-life of that is different than a sort of a sci-fi show. Like it's interesting that the shows that people like keep watching and keep coming back to generally kind of are in the sci-fi genre, which is look, I'm dying to be on a Star Trek. If you know anyone, I would love to be on a Star Trek.
Well, I was going to say too, like you're a California kid, especially growing up in LA, and when you're like, "Oh, I want to be in show business," and then every other person in the world, every barista and valet parker has come from somewhere else to do it as well, and yet you made it. And so I just have to think the staying power there, because I'm sure you went to auditions and they're like, nah, "We've already cast this," and you're like, "What am I doing here?" So what about that staying power to commit to it?
Well, you know, this is something I think I tell younger people when they're asking me about this topic and about, you know, how do you survive the ups and downs? And I think really you have to be in it not to make a ton of money and not to be famous. You have to be in it because you like creating things, you want to be a performer. And I always tell people like you got to have your own thing. Like you know, I make lots of comedy videos on Instagram and TikTok, and I blew up. I had like a second round of becoming famous again from the stuff I was doing on Instagram back in 2016, and it's just interesting. Like you really have to create your own um, content, really, to have I think staying power in this, because otherwise, like you're at the mercy of who wants to cast you on a whim, and so I think like if you are in it for the craft, I know that sounds very like theater, but you know, you have to be in it for the enjoyment of the craft and of the doing it, because there are no guarantees that you're going to make a bunch of money or that you'll ever work again. So I think like just tapping into your own creativity is the best way to stick around.
And then finally, are you still doing the pod with Felicia? Oh my gosh. All right. You know what? It's okay. We don't. If he calls back, that's fine. That was my last question anyway. But everybody, check out Goodnight Roach with Tom Lenk and Tom DeTrinis. This will be at the Bats Bayfront Theater tonight at 7:30. So get your tickets at sfsketchfest.com. Check it out. Goodnight Roach. I'm Rick Tittle. We'll take a quick break. We will come on back on Sports Byline.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle Dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money, and you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle Dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624.
Special alert for consumers struggling to pay taxes. There are new tax regulations, not published yet. We have the inside track on your new tax savings. These programs are designed to help struggling taxpayers like you. The COVID relief programs are gone, but there are new programs to help struggling taxpayers, and we have the inside track. Call now and we'll take you through these new programs. These taxpayer savings programs have never been available until now. Get out of tax trouble now. It doesn't take weeks. It can happen in one phone call. Call now and get the inside track to get rid of your tax problems.
Call the tax helpline now. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. That's 800-949-0039.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
You take a model man and put him in control. Watch him become a god. Watch people's heads roll.
Don't ask Rick Tittle to bring it, because it already done got brought.
All right, another show chock full of nuts and guests and such things. We here at Titillating Sports, meaning me, over the years we've had some pixie dust sprinkled on people who have won awards, especially Academy Awards. And I interviewed a lot of people from Oscar-qualified short films. And I would always say, hey, can you dream the dream of getting actually nominated? And they're like, fingers crossed. And I'd say, who would you want to meet at the after party? Do you write a thank you note? What would the red carpet be? And this is the first time because the Oscar nominees came out. And I'm not a big Oscar guy anymore. When Shakespeare in Love beats Saving Private Ryan, I'm like, all right, I'm out. When Will Smith slaps Chris Rock and then goes back and sits down. He went back and sat down, and they just kept going like nothing happened. I'm not really interested. And then plus, like Sinners, which was the most boring piece of crap I've sat through in years, gets some 16 nominations. It's like, oh, it's Michael B. Jordan, been on the show. Ryan Coogler, been on the show, went to the same schools. I love those guys, but it just was not a great movie in my opinion. But back to the live-action short films. 5 for 5. All the people that worked on those, the producers and directors, were interviewed by me. And so a Tittle vet is definitely bringing home an Oscar. It's funny because my boss was like, yeah, we got 4 out of 5. I go, who'd we get? And he's like, Butcher's Stain, Jane Austen's period drama, The Singers, 2 people exchanging saliva. I'm like, oh, which one didn't we get? It was called A Friend of Dorothy. I'm like, I interviewed that guy. We talked about how that it's like saying that's how you're gay. You're a friend of Dorothy. It's a saying